The Enlightenment That Comes with Reverend Dr. Peter Aretambe. Theme: The Story. On the 1st of October 1961, the British Highway Construction Company, called the Samaritans, agreed with King Charles III to enter into a contract with African leaders to explore the economic, mobility, safety, and environmental issues relating to roads and their users, which later failed and attracted conflicts. 6 months after the contract had been established, King Charles III and the road construction company, the Samaritans, moved their equipment to a town called Ibiagwa in the Upper Bayang region of southern Cameroon. After spending time with the African leaders in Ibiagwa, where these equipments were moved and stationed, King Charles III and the Samaritans Company decided to return to the United Kingdom. A few weeks after their departure to the United Kingdom, an intruder took advantage of the ignorance of the African leaders, as well as their lack of confidence, and convinced them to bring out the contract of agreement that was signed between them and King Charles III, which they did without questioning. This personality took note that the African leaders lacked adequate knowledge of the importance of the initial covenant, which carried vital information relating to the project. Thus, he was able to convince them to terminate the contract without the approval of King Charles III. The intruder deemed that the African leaders already had the equipment, the plan, and the knowledge required to operate effectively on their own in the absence of King Charles III. Following this rebellion, King Charles III arrived in Ibiagwa from the United Kingdom, only to discover that the African leaders had already terminated the contract of agreement between them and King Charles III without any prior notice. Upon realizing, King Charles III frowned at the African leaders for taking such an unreasonable decision tantamount to self-destruction. He unveiled his intention to build their economy, improve on their security, as well as their environment in order to enable them to move about and operate in Ibiagwa. On their part, the African leaders replied King Charles III that their action was influenced by the intruder, who convinced them that they had all it takes to live on their own without the assistance of King Charles III. After listening to their reply, King Charles III expressed his regret as this action amounted to gross misconduct, hence suspending the project at Ibiagwa for the time being. However, prior to his return to the United Kingdom, King Charles III promised that he was going to send his son, who is a general, to Ibiagwa to ensure that the intruder is arrested and punished, a decision that rekindled hope in the African leaders about the future. When King Charles III returned to the United Kingdom, he quickly reacted as promised. Following the conflict that ensued in Ibiagwa, the actual mission to explore the economic, mobility, safety, and environmental issues relating to roads and their users in Ibiagwa was suspended. While the African leaders were waiting for the king's promise, a lot of evil, corruption, and wickedness went on, and not too long, the awaited general arrived in Ibiagwa. Sadly enough, by the time this happened, most of the African leaders who signed the contract were already dead, leaving behind children and young adults who had little or no idea of the content of the agreement and why it was established with their ancestors. Upon his arrival, the general began recruiting young Africans with the aim of educating them on how to enjoy life to its fullest, and equally emphasized that they must 1. A. Love, embrace, and care for one another. 2. B. They must read, understand, and adhere to the rules and regulations of the initial agreement between King Charles III and their ancestors to activate the blessings. Although the general met the intruder, he did nothing physically against the latter as expected. This action left many in doubt as to whether he was the expected one promised by King Charles III. Those who saw General and the intruder together confirmed that there was nothing that happened between the two of them that could be accepted as a form of punishment as previously proposed by King Charles III. Instead, they admitted that the intruder attempted to distract the general from educating those he had recruited. The general then asked the intruder to move away from him, since he cannot allow anybody to distract him from his purpose and mission to Ibiagwa. Although the actual assignment from King Charles III was that the general should arrest and punish the intruder, a situation which ended up not being realized, he rather began training the natives who accepted his invitation to learn the knowledge he brought with him. Worth noting here is that before his return to the United Kingdom, the general urged his trainees to continue to love one another, do good, and show kindness to others. After the return of the general to the United Kingdom, the natives who sat and ate with him began to fight the intruder, an act which is contrary to the teachings they received from the general. At the same time, they were expecting awards from King Charles III for attacking the intruder, who also has the right to report them to King Charles III, or even kill them where possible. As time passed, the natives faced difficulties in life which made them fight one another as well as the intruder. They finally resolved to request the return of the general as soon as possible to judge them and the intruder, the only hope left for them. End of story. Reflective question. Do you believe or not that the above story is a summary of the Bible? Provide your evidence in not more than 500 words for an award.